Welcome to Delhi, India. The year is 3477. We're about to walk out the door on this incredible journey of a lifetime.
A lot of things.
Try to get some cool shots, get some cool inspiration.
So I'm kind of freaking out because everyone down there has head covers on. And I don't. I think it's time to change the fashion up a little here.
I like how you have the cheetah print.
Yeah, and everyone else has black and white. I know. That's all I had.
I didn't just pack like a little Rice Krispie treat. Now this is a Rice Krispie treat. This trip is going to be very interesting because we're actually flying over the Atlantic. We're going to Jordan first and then to India. And then when we leave eventually from Hong Kong to Japan, we're actually flying over the Pacific Ocean. So once all is said and done, we will have flown
officially
around the world. Lindsay and I are a lot alike, and there's not a lot of ways that you can tell the age difference between us, but there is one way, and that is by the video games that we play. In addition to Lindsay drinking a juice box, Lindsay plays Bejeweled, and I play Pac-Man. We've been on a plane for 2 days. We're ready for India. Bring it. We're a two-person Hollywood studio.
And I can definitely see how this would be very good Aladdin footage. It looks very, very much like the landscape we're after.
So one of the interesting things that Lindsay and I noticed once we got into the Middle East, but we've seen it in India as well, is Tom and Jerry is on TV all the time, everywhere we look. The only thing I can think of is because Tom and Jerry doesn't have any language to it. You don't need any translation, and so Tom and Jerry is pretty universal.
We're noticing there's a lot of wild and stray dogs, and most of them are fairly thin, and you think that you need to feed them. But this particular little guy over here, he's so full, he can't even finish his crescent roll.
You'll see goats walking around, minding their own business. Honestly, I've seen more cows here in India than my entire life walking down the street, usually by themselves. Cars, motorcycles, everything just weaves in and out of these cows. So the traffic here in India is pretty crazy.
Yes, there are lanes. However, they're implied. They're not like America. They just go all over the place, which is kind of ridiculous. Why even have lines in between the streets if you're not going to use them?
So obviously you've got people riding bikes everywhere, people riding motorcycles. You've got auto rickshaws. We've seen as many as 20 people jammed into a car that normally seats 5. You'll see 20 people not inside the car necessarily, but inside and around and on top of the cars. No seat belts. Sometimes you'll see vans with the side doors open while they're driving down the freeway because there's so many people jammed in they can't close the door, so they leave it wide open with people hanging out the side.
We took a rickshaw ride through Old Delhi.
And me and Matt had to be separated, because we're American size and they're Indian size, and hey, it happens. So Matt was on one and I was on the other, and that was kind of my first red flag, like, no, don't separate us.
There was definitely a charm to it, but it was also at times scary.
The rickshaws couldn't fit through some of the smaller areas, so we had to stop for a minute. And that made me really nervous because then people started slowly getting closer to you.
So we've been going to all these really impressive palaces and forts like Agra Fort, and this other beautiful fort that was built by Emperor Akbar, and
places of worship, things where we had to take our shoes off, put our shoes back on, which was really interesting because there was bird poop all over the ground and they still made you take your shoes off. Seems a little odd, but hey, I'm not going to judge. Here I am in all of my beautiful gown glory.
One of the interesting things that started happening is all of the locals wanted to take pictures with Lindsay.
We get a lot of attention, to say the least, especially because we're carrying camera equipment with us everywhere.
And it got to a point where literally dozens and dozens of young boys and teenagers just completely flocked Lindsay, and it was actually really cute. It was really charming. Eventually we just had to start turning people away because it just got ridiculous.
And they were even just taking pictures of our backs and us from the side, trying to jump in halfway.
The people here are very warm, very friendly. We did have a scary situation happen. This guy comes up out of nowhere and just completely bumps into Lindsay.
And me having, my martial arts training, my immediate reaction is to kind of back away because I don't want to get hit or pickpocketed, which is kind of what I assumed he was about to do.
Our tour guide stepped in and said, go inside and I'll be right there. So we go inside, we turn around, what's going on? And we see our tour guide go and grab this guy and he starts roughing him up.
He was about to bring the beat down on this guy.
The police start, everyone starts going out there and we're like, oh my gosh, what did we start? So the next thing we know, here comes our tour guide and he's got this guy by the back of his collar, drags him to me and he goes, say it. And he looks at me, he's like, I'm sorry. And he's like, now you say it to her. And he had to look at Lindsay and apologize.
I don't know exactly what that was all about. Probably more of a respect culture thing, I would assume.
We caused a ruckus and cops were running everywhere and we were like, oh my gosh, what are we getting ourselves into?
The Taj Mahal is, as you can guess, it's one of the 7 wonders of the world. It was very magnificent.
It was spectacular. There's no other word for it.
Needless to say, I don't want to give too much away, but the Taj Mahal definitely is going to end up in Aladdin 3477. It's not like it's extremely hot in India, but because we don't want to catch malaria, we've kind of been instructed to wear long sleeves the whole time. The locals in Delhi, they decided to give us a complimentary dinner at what they consider to be just this really cool, ritzy, young, trendy place. We've never seen anything like it. It's really, really cool. Lindsay orders this crazy drink. It's a mango something or other with a twist. So first thing, she gets this drink and it's not orange. That's the biggest red flag. It doesn't have an orangish hue. Instead, it's green and it looks really thick. It looks like guacamole. Lindsay takes a sip of this drink and she's like, oh my God, there's no way I can drink this. Taste it. So she passes it to me. And I'm like, how bad can it be? I'm like, come on, we're in India, so the drinks maybe taste a little bit different. I take a sip of this drink and I'm like, you're my wife. I wouldn't wish this taste upon my worst enemy. Why would you pass this to your husband? Right now, I'm already, even thinking about it, my eyes are watering and I have to gag because it was like green sewage in a glass. It was disgusting. No hint of mango anywhere.
We encountered a snake charmer, which I have never seen before in my life. And they are playing a little instrument and the Cobra comes out.
So today I faced my fears. When I was in 4th grade, I had to do a project and we all had to pick our favorite animal. So you can imagine a lot of kids in 4th grade are picking puppies, or they're picking, like a horse or something like that. Me, my animal project, I picked the Cobra. For me, I like things that I truthfully found scary. The animal that freaks me out the most is a snake. I'm a girl when it comes to snakes. They freak me out. So you can imagine the Cobra.
Right. Yes, I want to hold a Cobra. Let me jump on that one. Matt, however, did brave it, and he ended up having a Cobra on top of his head.
And around my neck. I was kind of in shock at the time. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be even in close proximity with a Cobra. We got to eat lunch at the Raj Palace, which was just immaculate. The lawns in this place are cut by hand. Literally, they'll have hundreds of workers that come in with scissors and cut blades of grass, pick up the grass. So what you're walking on is like the shortest little grass and you don't even leave footprints. It's unbelievable.
There was a baby elephant walking down the street and it was just this beautiful little girl elephant. She's so cute. Supposedly she blesses you with her trunk kind of a thing, puts it on both sides of your shoulders, and just a sweet animal.
When you put your hand out and this elephant just takes its trunk and it holds on to you, there's this feeling, both Lindsay and I, it felt like, don't leave me, take me with you. And it was like gut-wrenching. Again, like tears in our eyes. We did not want to leave this baby elephant. I think they cost, it's the same as a car, they cost usually about $20,000. But if you want to buy a camel, you can get a really good camel for about $800. So Lindsay and I were thinking, my gosh, we should buy a camel, keep it here in India, and then anytime we visit, we have our own camel. How great would that be, right? Realistically, probably not going to happen. You start at the bottom of the mountain. You have to get up to the top of the mountain where Amber Palace is. And to do that,
We are riding.
On the elephant.
Yeah.
I really thought I was gonna die for a minute.
the way we were sitting on it, I don't know if our saddle was too loose, but it started tipping.
And it felt like we were just gonna fall to our doom.
So we had to keep leaning back.
If this is my last transmission, thank you all for your support over the years.
And there was a couple times where our rider, he would kind of turn around, climb, and he would try to pull us back. Well, that would almost like make us feel like we were doubling back, flipping over the other side. Finally, when we got to Amber Palace, it was absolutely beautiful.
The story behind Amber Palace.
The Maharaja,
This guy had like 31 wives and 300 mistresses.
this guy was a total playa.
What? How do you have that many girls?
And he'd keep them all in separate rooms.
There was all these secret passageways so that way each girl wouldn't know who was getting chosen that night.
He had it down to a science.
I give the guy some credit for being able to handle that many women at once, but my goodness.
Today we got to see an army of monkeys, Hanuman's army, running along the top of City Palace.
Where there was conveniently a girl in there who did henna. I have always wanted to try it. They say that depending on how dark the stain gets on your hands is how much your husband loves you. I think I did okay. Mine looks pretty dark.
Amazing.
Awesome.
India was just this beautiful place that has this modern society that kind of meshes with these palaces that are hundreds, sometimes 1,000 or more years old. These palaces that have stood the test of time. 1,500 years in the future, will these palaces still be standing? And the answer is obviously yes. I really like the idea of taking these beautiful royal places and infusing it with modern technology. My vision for the parts of Aladdin 3477 that take place in India is going to be much like it is now, except more modern technology, more buildings, more people, more everything. It's going to be India times 1,500.
This has been such an amazing journey so far. I can't even imagine anything else being able to compare to India. And we still have Thailand, Cambodia, and China to go. They've got a lot to live up to, I'm not gonna lie. So we'll see what happens.
Till next time, if you're gonna make a wish, make it a good one.